Robin Hood on the road. We're at the food bank in Hammersmith and Fulham today. My name's Bill Nighy. Check it out.
We've fed 530 people since we opened just under a year ago.
In this district of Hammersmith and Fulham, 36% of the people live beneath the poverty line. That shocked me. There are 13 million people living beneath the poverty line in the UK, and an interesting fact, which I didn't know until recently, is that half of those 13 million people living in poverty in the UK have a job, and they pay tax. The poor pay more tax proportionately than anyone else.
People didn't realise there's poverty in the UK though. I've had quite a few people, we just did a collection, and people came up to me and said to me, but there can't be poverty in England. It's a rich country.
A lot of them were small business people, people with small businesses who went kaput as a result of the banking catastrophe. They were reduced to nothing, they were wiped out. These are not people who are accustomed to coming and asking for handouts. They get more than a handout, but they do get an emergency 3-day package of food for themselves and for their children.
I couldn't do it. I probably was so scared. I was like, I don't need this, there's someone out there worse off than me. But eventually I did, and I walked through the door, and the people in there was just overwhelming. They were there to not just give you food, they were there for your support and your progress. I just want everybody to know, when you're at your lowest, there is people out there that help you. Now I'm actually becoming a volunteer myself for age concern, and I'd love to be a carer.
There are more and more people turning up at the doors of the food banks. The food banks have grown to 95 in number in the last 6 years. The numbers of people have grown because of the banking catastrophe precipitated by certain elements in the banking community. It's not the problem of the people that turn up at the doors of the food bank, plainly. It's a banking affair, but it's their problem now. 1.6 million children live beneath the poverty line in the UK.
I am scared for kids, because those kids who are growing up with very low ambition and aspiration, they're kind of getting drawn into the whirlpool of negativity, and there isn't a future.
The idea that the government currently goes around the country closing things down, things like the Northern Ireland Music Therapy for Disabled Children Fund, which is, in their terms, it's a pittance. And yet that service is no longer available to them because the banks precipitated a catastrophe. They are laying off nurses, closing libraries. I don't think that the banks are simply to be punished for the banking catastrophe that brought us to a standstill recently, but the Robin Hood tax is obviously, as a result of that catastrophe, made more timely. The Robin Hood tax, to me, is a brilliant and simple idea. Rather than combing through the British Isles looking for tiny amounts of money to cut from the least advantaged people, you simply take a tiny amount of money, you take 10 pence in every £1,000 from all of the money that is generated in cyberspace, the speculative banking that got us into trouble in the first place, and you put it into a fund. In UK terms, that would mean £20 billion every year. The suggestion is 50% of the money that each country generated would be placed to deal with domestic issues. In the UK, that would mean child poverty, benefit traps, affordable housing, whatever were the frontline issues of the day, and the other half, 25% for climate change issues and 25% for the more traditional targets, such as trying to stop 500,000 women dying every 12 months trying to do something as simple as having a baby. It's one of those ideas that is at first sight too good to be true. But in fact it's that simple, and in fact it's that good, and in fact it's that beautiful.
That's never gonna be. I'm just waiting for the cows to come home. Spend most of my days in the old smithy. All the girls